Now, coming up next, we have a presentation by Vlad from Doctrine on how to bootstrap and supercharge your player community. Now, having co-founded Doctrine 6 years ago, his team has delivered more than a few great titles to gamers, including Yappy Cycle, The Legend of Tianting, and Lamentum. So whether you're trying to kickstart your community or if you're looking for some fresh advice on managing Steam and Discord, you will find his tips very practical and very useful as well. So please join me to welcome Vlad.
All right, mask off. Thank you for the introduction. So yeah, we don't have much time. I could actually talk about this for hours, so we're just going to jump in. It's going to be more of a crash course on how to set up your Discord and Steam community and what you should do before you start publishing the game. So just quick intro, my name is Vlad, or Wade. So I'm one of the co-founders of Doctrine. We're a Taiwanese publisher based, well, in Taiwan. So we work with indie games. So we sold a bunch of them, many million copies, built up a big community of thousands of people. And today I'm going to explain you kind of sort of what we did, how we did it, what tools you should use, and what are the general guidelines you should follow when starting from scratch. Oh no, oh, yep, okay, there we go. So the question is like, why should you even bother making a community, right? So the first thing is very obvious, like you want to boost the visibility of the game. The more people you have in your community, the more people talk about your game, and the more people will know about your game because more people talk about your game. Another thing is you will reduce marketing costs because as you start building up your community, you will get fans, you'll get super fans, and those people in turn will go on the social media and also use word of mouth and spread the awareness of your game for you. So essentially becoming kind of like free advocates of your titles, whether it's a game or a company. And the third one is it also gives your company or your studio credibility. Because, for example, as us, when we try signing games as publishers, when we already see that the developer has at least some sort of a small core community, it gives us more confidence in the project, because so when you're approaching publishers or investors or you're looking for funds, if you already have, it doesn't have to be thousands of people. If you have already a few hundred of people in your Discord or whatever you use, that just gives you that extra boost, and it shows your potential partners that you're serious about your project and there's also interest. Boop. There we go. So we're going to be talking today about Steam because there's a few things that a lot of developers miss out since they introduced a few extras in the backend about a year ago. So not many developers still use them, but you should use them because, again, it helps you with visibility and will push your game to be more visible to other players. Second one is Discord/Guilded. Mainly going to be talking about Discord. Guilded is a bit smaller and has a lot of not as a big fan base, but has a lot more cool features compared to Discord. And depending how Discord fares in the next few years with them going public, things might change. So Guilded is a good thing to keep in the back of your head. Don't have to worry about it now, but what we did, we just made a placeholder server with our name on it, so in case we need to swap, we already have some sort of a baseline. And the third one, of course, is social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You should do those. Not going to really talk about those because it's more on a social media side. One thing I did wanted to mention is Twitter released this closed beta for communities about like 2 weeks ago. So it allows you to set up your own open or closed community on Twitter and invite your members and moderate it and make posts and announcements. Right now, the beta is closed, so you need to get invited to get in, but eventually they'll open it up, and that's something that you should also keep an eye on. I should not swing the remote. There we go. So for Steam, there's pretty much 3 things you need to take care of. First is the discussion board, so it's your forums in the backend where people can post their concerns or report bugs or just ask general questions. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind when it comes to Chinese market, they don't have access to discussion boards. So all the gamers in China, which is a lot, they're banned from it. So the only way they can communicate is via review system. So every time you launch a game, you might see a lot of negative reviews coming in from China. That's because it's the only way for them to talk to the developers. So our advice is normally tend to those reviews, respond them, see if you can fix the bugs, and talk to them. And then normally, usually, most of the time, they swap it back to positive. But that's just one thing to keep in mind. The second thing is store languages. So if your game has several different languages in game, you should probably localize your store page in those languages as well. And I'll also show you a little bit how to make your store page pretty. And the third thing is use the community features. So those are the features that you get access through the Steam partner network in the back end. And there's a lot of cool stuff you can do and you should be doing because it all plays into the Steam's grand algorithm, which in turn boosts the visibility for your game and also helps build the community with the localized events. There we go. Yeah, so this is an example of discussion boards. So what we normally do, because our primarily focus is still English-speaking and Chinese-speaking communities. So what we do is we just set up a few threads that are pinned. One of them is for bug collection. So if anything's broken in your game, people can post bug reports there with screenshots, videos, and stuff like that. Another thing we pin is the partner Discord server. So if people want to join the Discord or guild it, they can just go there. The link is there. They join the community and then can talk to the developers or us directly. Another thing I suggest is also pinning your Steam group and Steam page. Now, it doesn't work for everybody because if you only have one game, it doesn't make sense to create that. But if you're a publisher or a bigger company or you have several games, I strongly advise create a Steam group, and then with the Steam group you can create a curator page, and in turn that curator page will turn into a special Steam page for all of your titles. And that's another place that people can follow and read your announcements, and you can link all the games together, so no matter to which games page a person goes to, under your trailer you will have a link to your curator page or publisher page or developer franchise. So that thing is extremely useful because that gives that extra layer, again, visibility, feed the Steam algorithm, and helps people recognize your title across the whole board. And the third thing we do is we do localized forums for different languages. So in case here we have the Zhongguo and Wenqu. We put it up there, pin post. It says in Chinese, if you want to go to the Chinese side of the forums, here are the links. And on the side, you can set up a special forum just for the Chinese-speaking community or Russian-speaking community or whatever language you want. So then people click there, and it's a whole same thing of bug reports, pinned topics, whatever, but in their own language. So that helps a lot. Players feel more welcome, and they feel like you care. So it, again, bolsters the community and this kind of like a camaraderie feeling. Oh, yeah, no? Yes. So for the store page, again, localize your store pages. So here we have an example for the Legend of Tianding, which is a game about Taiwan from Taiwanese developers coming out on the 1st of November. So do wishlist it and buy it, and I'll be very, very, very happy. Pay for this trip. So as you can see, we did it in English, and we also localized it in Chinese. So put on some pretty GIFs, some pictures that are more interactive, and again, localize it in the other languages. So in our case, we did it English and traditional Chinese, just because, and we also did simplified, but here it's not. And another thing you can also add, there's different tabs that you can customize on your store page with like special offers or for the wish list. So we did a special image for the wish list, which is also animated, and you click on it and it wish lists the game. Another thing we did is another Discord link, because you gotta slap it everywhere you can so people can join. And one cool feature that we always do is we organize an open and closed beta for players, so they can sign up through that other image I have. And it just takes them to a Google form, they fill it out, get their email, and then when you do an open or closed beta, you just send out the keys. And players love that thing. Like for us, it's been always a very, very huge success. We get like thousands of people joining, playing the game, giving feedback, everybody's happy, they feel included. And in return, what we usually do is we also include everybody who submitted decent feedback into the credits of the game, and then also raffle out some prizes, but that's up to you. And the third part for Steam is the community features. So when you log into the Steam Partner Network, click on your game, scroll all the way down, you see the Post Manage Events announcements. And that opens up this tab on the right. Right now it looks a bit different because Steam Next passed, so now it's Halloween and Winterfest. So all these localized events you can do, like the special live stream, game updates linking to your game, patches and update notes, and content, discount streams, AMA, challenges, demo events, whatever. Whatever you have, use that, because again, the more you use it, the more people see it, the more active and engaged you as a developer look to your community, and also pleases the Steam algorithm. So the more features you use that Steam gives you, the more visibility your game will get, and the more people will find it out, and the more people will join your community. Of course, don't overdo it. Don't post like an announcement every day, because that's just going to be spam. But moderately, and participate in all of these seasonal events like Steam Next, the Demo Fest, the Halloween Fest, the Winter Festival, the Autumn Festival, Chinese New Year. They're happening now every month. Yes, there we go. So now Discord. Oh man, we're starting to run out of time, so I'm gonna go quicker. First thing you should do with your Discord server is get it verified. So go to that link, discord.com verification, submit your application. Since you're a game developer or a publisher, you have some games or something to show, the verification is very easy. It's just a tiny form, you submit it, and then in a week, 2 weeks, it usually gets approved. Now, what it gives you is you can get custom URLs, so you can use your company name, your game name as your custom one. In our case, it's just ND, so it's easy to remember. And it gives you a few other little perks for the server that normally you would have to pay for, but in this case, you don't. And so another thing you should do is get a few bots for the server. I'll show you the top 2, 3 ones we use. But there's so many of them, so it always ends up being tailored to your community, what you need for the events, or specific functions from the bots, so it's all up to you. And of course, you can always make your own. It's not that hard. If you can make a game, you can code a little bot. I do understand time is a constraint, so a lot of people just get pre-made ones. Second thing, prepare events. So there's always like something happening. Doesn't have to be every day, every week, but monthly, bi-weekly, depending on the size of your community and the activity, to keep people engaged and the reason to be there and participate. Another thing is it's a great pipeline to setting up communication for feedback and bug reports and suggestions. Like it works really nice for us the way we did it. And the last thing is my personal pet peeve, but I'm also guilty of it. Do not clutter your server. So, you don't need 40, 45 different channels. New people go in and they're like, oh my God, that is too much, and they just leave. Just start out small, like 5 channels, just the basic stuff. And once you grow, you can alter it and see what your community wants and what fits best. And you can also always hide channels behind roles. So when the person first joins, they have an option to select, which channels they want to see and which games they want to see and participate. All right, so when it comes to moderators, I'm not a fan of sending out like a application method so people can go and subscribe. We usually just look at people who are most active in the server, who are there, who are talking to people, participating in the events, and being friendly to new people, and we just set them as mods. And so far, we've been doing this for what, 7 years. It's been great. No drama, nothing. Very easy. You don't have to go through application process, just pick the active people and do that. Like I mentioned before, make sure you set up your weekly, monthly events like trivia or demos or betas or the developer stream, especially if if you have like a technical artist or an artist doing something in Photoshop or coding in Unity or in Blender. It's very easy to hop on a Discord, hop on the stream, and just talk to people while you're working. Because a lot of general public, they're interested in this, so the people in your server who like your game or product, it's going to be fun for them to watch and see you work, and they can ask questions, you can talk to them. Another thing is play games with them. You don't always have to shill your own game. You can play other games like Counter-Strike or Minecraft or Among Us or whatever, Overwatch, Halo beta. Because that also helps build that feeling of camaraderie and kind of friendship, so it's not you just there trying to make them buy your game or buy your products. And in that, in turn, also kind of creates these little special personal moments. So you get a more of a personal connection with your members, but not just like a brand face bot typing in chat, wishlist my game. Don't do that. So, like I said before, so we use Discord also for suggestions and feedback and bug reports. So, for example, for suggestions, we use a bot. A user types a command saying, oh, I want this role color to be available for everybody. And then it pops in a channel, and then the whole community can vote on it. And if it usually, if the vote passes, we just add the feature if it's simple enough. For feedback, most of the time we just use Google Form when we do our closed and open betas. It's very easy to set up. Everybody has a Google account. They can fill it out. And for us and our QA team and developers, it's very easy to filter through the information. For bugs, what we did is we set up a special channel. So when something breaks, people go there, they post during looking at our guidelines, and all that gets posted in the channel, including like videos and screenshots, gets automatically reposted to Trello, in our case, by a webhook. So again, for developers in QA, it's super easy. They don't have to go through Discord channels. They'll filter everything, especially when you have like 15, 20 games. It all gets automatically posted to Trello with all the details and images and media, and from there, the QA team can handle it. So that's a very handy thing to set up, makes everybody's life a little bit easier. All right, so the bots we use. First is Gaius Cicerius. They're both free. You can pay them, but you don't have to. So this one is a great moderation bot. Like so far, pretty much the best one on Discord. Like Discord staff themselves use this bot. So it filters out all the spam, phishing URLs, flood, trolls, all of that pretty much gets deleted before it even hits the main channel. So this one is really a must-have because it saves you so much headache and helps your mods by a long shot. So also has super deep logs in case if drama happens and somebody's not being so nice and somebody deletes who's not supposed to delete something. It logs everything, text files, whatever, so you can look through it. So for moderation, this is the one that I would heavily recommend people using. There's a paid version, which is like $3 a month if you want some extra features, but you don't really need them. Another bot we use is Me6. It had an update a few months ago, so they added a lot more cool stuff to it. One thing is the reaction roles, because it's also super easy to use. So that's the one that you see here. We set it up. So it's like, oh, hey, you want to open up Chinese channels or Russian channels or like looking for group or other channels that I can't read from there. People click on that icon, and that icon gives them a role, and then those channels open up. So it's a really nice way to avoid the clutter I mentioned earlier, because you don't want people joining the server and being overwhelmed by 50-something channels you have there. And it has custom commands. So what we did is we set up a template for every game we have. So when a person types, ! ting this little embed pops up saying, here's the game, here's the Steam link, here's the trailer link, here's the picture of the game. So it's easy for people to find information. And if you want to link it, you don't have to go look for the Steam link, post it, and then the embed looks kind of bad on Discord. But you can make your own, and then it's nice and super easy. And yeah, it has like server economy, and so you can set up your own custom currency to incentivize people, playing various server games, and then they can use that economy to purchase things with. So in our case, they can purchase like different colors and roles, but we also added merch recently. So now if they get enough of the currency, they can actually buy actual physical merchandise with that currency. So again, this all feeds into incentivizing the players in your community to be active, participate in the events, and talk, be present, support each other. And so takeaway information, because we're have a minute left. Start early, because people come and ask me, oh, when should I start a community? We just started our game. We don't have much time. And yeah, if you don't have the funds and the resources, like most indie studios have in the beginning, that you can't hire a single community manager because you just don't have time or money. But yeah, start early. Just set up the server, set up the Steam properly. Be consistent. No, you don't have to be there 24/7 because that's just impossible. But set up some sort of a schedule. Like, for example, we have a calendar with the events. But in the beginning, you can just have like, once a week you do trivia night or you do movie night. And it's also all very easy to organize because the bots are so accessible. You can just type in Google Trivia Bot Discord and there's tons of them to pick. And again, be active. So you don't have, again, you can't be active there 24/7, but what we do is, talk a little bit in the morning, talk a little bit in the afternoon, talk a little bit in the evening, and that's it. Make sure that you're just there talking. Otherwise, if you're not present and not interacting, why would the other players do it? Because, it's your game, it's your server, and if you can't be there enough times, they're just going to leave. And yeah, the last point is give players the reason to be part of your community. Like I said, there's so many different incentives, like sharing them with the information how the game is made, or running open closed beta tests so they can feel part of the process and help you actually get good feedback. And of course, all the different server games with the currency and just like make fun of it. Fun out of it, don't make fun of it. But yeah, so the time is out. I can go on for hours about this topic, but if you have more detailed questions or you need recommendations for like bots or like server setup or roles or things like that, or help with the verifications, you can message me on Twitter, or you can message me on Discord, or you can just email me if you want to show me some of your games as well. We look at games. Yeah, that's it from me. Now I guess take it away.
Thank you so much, Vlad. How do you know that I was coming up?
Huh?
We're going to have a Q&A now.
Yeah. So just
I saw you scoot a little bit to that side because you knew that I was coming up, right? All right, so as you can see, we have it on our screens now. These are the questions that were sent in during your presentation. You are very popular because there are a lot of questions on the board. So
we totally did not write them ourselves, guys.
So let's go with the most popular question, shall we? The first one. Okay, here we go. How do you ensure that your community remains wholesome and not toxic?
Okay, so in our case, what we have in place is zero tolerance. So if somebody starts being a troll or they're being a troll, insta-ban. That's it. There's no appeal time. There's nothing like that. If they're being they get banned, and that's it. So we just clean house right away. So far, never had any major issues. And of course, like I said, you got to pick your mods carefully. So that's why you don't want to set up like a submission process for a job, but you just pick the people you see that are active in the server, that are friendly, that are welcoming new members, and they're talking to the developers, and they're talking about your games, because you don't want to have the moderators there being like talking about anime, and then you announce like your game is out, and they just like, oh, cool, and then they go back talking about the anime. So you gotta just pick people who like your community, and yeah, just ban all the haters. Like I said, get the moderation bot. It will clear the majority of this stuff out for you.
And if they're banned, are they banned forever, or?
Yeah, we don't have any appeals. Like if they're being stupid, they're out. That's it.
I mean, they deserve it, right?
Absolutely. And when it's a small community, there can be a leniency. But when it's like thousands of people, you really can't go for all of that. We have the rules. The rules are written there. If you're trying to be like bypass the rules or be sneaky, like nah, you just get banned, and that's it. And so yeah, we don't have any drama. Everybody's super friendly. Everybody plays games together. I mean, you can go to the server and look for yourself.
Oh, that's nice. All right, let's take a look at the next question. Streamers and YouTubers, is it worth paying to create or promote content?
Oh, man, it's a tricky one. So for indie games, do not pay for like big streamers and YouTubers. Like it doesn't work. The amount of money required on marketing to be spent to get your money's worth, it just doesn't work, because they can see it's a sponsored content, and especially if the streamer plays Fortnite 24/7 and suddenly he plays a little game, nobody from his community gonna care. Like they just won't. It's always easier to find organic interaction through micro and mini influencers. So not the super huge guys, but the ones that are kind of like mid-level, well, I don't want to say lower tier, but like not as a huge following.
The micro ones.
Because, because their community is more engaged and they actually listen to the influencer and the YouTuber, and the conversion rate is way higher. So it's better to, I mean, it's a whole job again as the influencers relations, but it's better to scout out the people that play similar games and the community likes those games and reach out to them personally and be like, hey, like my game's coming out. Do you want to check it out and things like that. Just don't say the copy-paste email, like try to make it at least a little bit personal. You can pay for them, but just make sure that the company you're working with understands your game and the demographic they're going for, because otherwise you're just going to waste your money.
Well, can I say that the community is very aware of what's happening?
Oh yeah. It's common knowledge now. I mean, hell, Twitch got leaked like what, a week ago with all the numbers, so everybody knows what's going on. But yeah, if you want a good recommendation for a company to work with for influencer streamer stuff, Disobey. We've worked with them for quite a few titles, and they're great and they're cheap. They're indie prices. It's not like tens of thousands of dollars for campaigns, nothing like that.
Oh, great. Thanks for that tip. Okay, so we have time for a couple more questions. Oh, here's another one. When is a good time to start focusing on community? Is it better to have some social media presence before putting in resources?
The earlier the better, in all honesty. Like, you can run them side by side. Like, setting up Discord takes a few hours, but if you're doing the basic stuff, it's easy. And then, because if you're already running social media, you need to have a funnel where you, well, funnel all the people, right? So normally you would send them to your Steam page or to your Discord. So if you want to, once you start rolling out your community and social media marketing, and you start posting on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, you should already have your Discord set up. So the people that are interested can join the server, and their mind will be constantly reminded, like, hey, this game exists, we're doing stuff. Because even if when they will wishlist on Steam, you just started, the game is going to be out maybe in like 2-3 years. By that time, that wishlist is not going to count for anything, and people have forgotten. But if they already have a place where they can talk and interact, even like on a day, not even on a daily basis, it still is like a little constant reminder that you're still there, your presence, stuff's happening, and it's easier to share things because you can't really spam Twitter nonstop. But in Discord, you can.
Well, this whole session feels like a master class.
Yeah, I really need like 2 or 3 hours for this.
Yeah, I can tell that you're very passionate about this topic, which makes you the perfect speaker to talk about this. So I think, do we have time for one last question, or that's all the time that we have? All right, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. It's such a pleasure chatting with you, Vlad, and hearing your speech as well. And I hope to catch you again soon. Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, no time for questions, but drop me an email or message me on Twitter, and I can answer them there. Right, yeah. Off the stage. Thank you.